And while there was no ticket per se initially with Steve Munisteri or Meckler, they did have a lady who apparently had kind of come close to winning something. She was, I think, she was Meckler's running mate, and then she became. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, and that's exactly the way he just put that. You might not have heard this, at least on the tape, that there were some backroom deals going on. And this lady had a nice pedigree as well. Well, Munisteri gets up there, Kathy Adams speaks, Robin Armstrong speaks, Meckler in support of Munisteri, and there was a bunch of points of order and people speaking for and against and so forth. And ultimately, Steve Munisteri defeated Kathy Adams. And I thought this was interesting because I'm trying to figure out my own, these are my perspectives. Please understand that my comments do not necessarily reflect the position of the Hopkins County Republican Party. But I'm still trying to figure out and understand the makeup of our current Tea Party. And and it's kind of interesting, the Tea Party, as you know, has just been front news here recently as the left continues to attack and now try to make it seem like it's a racist organization, which of course is the farthest thing from the truth. But I definitely perceived that many of the people who were attending for the first time were Tea Party conservatives, more of the fiscal conservative variety than the social conservative variety. And I hate to make those distinctions because I think many people would say, hey, I'm not one or the other, I'm really both, and I perceive, in fact, our own local organization to be more of both, if you will. Our local involvement in Tea Party politics has certainly been very socially conservative and very fiscally conservative. But I got the distinct impression at the state level that there was a little bit of pushing back against the social conservative, particularly of a Christian nature, which, to be perfectly honest, I found a little troubling. A little troubling. Munisteri and so forth, they would say the right things. They would, the people who were in support of them would say the right things. But I got the distinct impression of that the people who were supportive of those chairmanships wanted people to just kind of tone down the God talk, which I found a little troubling, to be perfectly honest. Very fiscally conservative, but they would not consider themselves, in my estimation and my analysis, aligned very much with what the media calls the religious right. Moments ago, you heard, and Judge Newsom wanted me to announce that tonight, for instance, I want to wrap my part up, speaking at New Beginnings Fellowship is Kelly Shackelford. And Judge, again, boy, my mind has just been a long day. I got up at 4:30 this morning. He's with what organization? The Liberty Council. Fascinating person. If you have an opportunity to go from here to there, I think it would be good for you to hear that. But my sense about it is that the organization, the party, has been completely aligned with folks of that ilk, if you will, Kelly Shackelford and company, and I got the impression that we moved a little, I'm not going to say left, I don't mean to suggest at all that we've moved left, but we've moved at least away from some of that. I got the sense that people wanted to say, look, let's focus on the fiscal problems that are going on and not so much the religious liberties, the social conservative, and again, those are my observations, and I found that to be a little troubling. I did not sense that in our own Senate. I think those values that I believe our party, our local county holds near and dear, those values are alive and well in Hopkins County and throughout Senate District 2. That was clear. It was fun to kind of visit with some of the folks from Hunt County and Rockwall County and Kaufman County and some of those nearby counties to see, you know, kind of what drives their train. And they are passionate folks. I mean to tell you, Rockwall County, they are mobilized. Hunt County, they are mobilized. And it's so fun to see Hunt County, or Hopkins County, because we're becoming mobilized. It's like we've just been surrounded by counties that are getting their act together. Seriously. We've got Franklin County, we've got Delta County, we've got Rains County, we've got Hunt County that long before we are got on the Republican bandwagon, and they're getting local candidates elected. They're affecting, you know, just the mindset of people locally. And until recently, Hopkins has kind of lagged behind in that regard, but I don't think we're lagging that far behind. For instance, this meeting right here on a July for a Hopkins County Republican Party, be about 3 or 4 people. And it was the same 3 or 4 people for the last 60 years. But that's not the case anymore. I can remember when we had our candidates forum a few months ago, just before the primary election. And I thought to 4 years ago when I was running as well, and we had the same kind of slate of candidates and offices that were up for, and we just needed a small part of the convention center, and we didn't come close to filling that. We probably had 40 people in attendance. How many of y'all were at the candidates forum in March? Several hundred people were there this time. And it was wonderful. And I attribute a lot of that to, this right here. Dr. Miller brought these in right here, this Who's in Your Wallet. This has a lot to do with the Tea Party that's going on. Of course, this is sponsored by the Hopkins County Republican Women's Club. There you go. But also kind of an outgrowth of the Tea Party movement that has gone on here in Hopkins County and beyond. So it was fun to see the inner workings. I got caught up in the chairmanship, and then I realized after a while, we're not going to go wrong with any one of those 3. I think all of them would do a really good job. But it was interesting to see how that worked. But I also realized that while we got to turn in our votes, if you really wanted to have a say-so, then you need to be involved at the Senate district level and start, just like I guess anything else, start meeting people and making acquaintances and alliances and so forth and so on. For a great part, it was a pep rally. I think our folks were energized. It was a learning experience for me. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to go. I look forward to going. I'd like to go again in a couple of years when we have the next one as well. But I don't know that I can answer all of them. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them or get some of my other attendees that I see scattered throughout the audience to help answer those as well. Yes, sir.
What happened to Robert Armstrong?
Yeah, because Steve Munisteri won, then the vice chairman had to be a lady, and so he was just put out to pasture, which was sad because he is, and I expect that he will continue to be a great asset, just not in as public a fashion as he was. And frankly, I forget, wasn't it the lady who was going to be Meckler's? Yeah, the vice chairman is kind of interesting because there was people from the floor were nominating Kathy Adams to be the vice chairman, and then it became evident after a while, word trickled up to the stage that she was not interested in serving in that. And I think she was being gracious about it. There was no sour grapes about it at all. She just said, look, my name was put out there. I'm going to help support Steve Munisteri, and somebody else needs to be the vice chairman. So I thought that was actually kind of a class act on her part. Yeah, he just won't be serving because of it has to be a male and a female. At that point, someone was appointed as vice chairman who had not spent a dime on campaigning for that position. And the other folks had spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would think, just in what they mailed me. But it was interesting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. There's 2 or 3 things, if I can remember them, that I'm needing to talk to y'all about. Number one, I wanted to tell you that we have, thanks to Laquita, we now have 15 precinct chairmen. And I think that's a record, isn't it, Chris? I don't believe we've ever had that many. And I know it started back there with Chris. He started trying to organize the county, and then I got lucky to take over when there's a lot of people getting energized because of Obama. And so we got to thank our president for helping us along there. Then also our Republican headquarters, hopefully if Beth and I get through with our chores this weekend, we're going to have it ready for Laquita and them to come do their magic out there. And then I'm hoping that we'll be able to get it open maybe by mid-month next month in August is what I'm hoping.
Remind us where that's going to be?
At the headquarters, it's 1351 South Hillcrest, which is just south of Interstate 30 on the right-hand side of the road. It looks like an old West building that you'll be able to recognize it because it's going to have big Republican banners all over it. It's right down from Pilots. It's across. It's not directly across from Pilots, but you go on past Pilots and it's on the right.
And with the new loop out there, it's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you wouldn't believe how the traffic has picked up since the loop is opened. It's just, man, it's something trying to get out on the road even.